Should we move on to things we don't like?
Yeah.
I have a big list, so I mean I can either go first or last. I don't mind.
I didn't realise you disliked that much of that.
Well, I'm trying to be realistic about it, but should we start with Mr. Fruity? You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah.
The main problem I have with this game and makes it quite hard to play for me is just not being able to hotkey groups of buildings.
Yes.
That is so... because it's like completely changes the playstyle I'm used to in Starcraft 2, and not being able to like group together all your production, all your upgrade buildings and stuff like that is really hard.
One building per control group.
Like I can't get used to that. Not having like all my like nexus or hatcheries on one tab. Like not being able to do that really annoys me. So I keep hotkeying back, like keep clicking on the map to go back to the base to then click on things.
I don't know any difference.
So hard. And the only other thing that super gets to me is not being able to like just like select all my army.
Well, F2 it. Yeah.
Because I know that you shouldn't F2. It's even worse when like I can't like have all my production keep churning out to one point. And I always find it hard to going back, and because you can only have so many people in the group, you can't just like hotkey your entire army and then go.
Yeah.
So it's just like that. Those two things are very hard to like get over for me. It's just the grouping is really difficult.
It's frustrating.
And needing so many buildings. That's just another thing where it's just like, oh, I've got another building. They got to build another building.
Just for one unit.
Yeah, I got to build another building, another building. Like in 2, like you got to build a Dark Shrine to build like DTs, and like you need like a Templar Archive to do that, and then to do like the High Templars, and like you need like the add-on to Robo Bay to do like Colossus and stuff. But like that does like the upgrades, that does like extra units, like they're all in like one building.
Yeah.
So it's a bit hard that. And then you got the other one, be like, well, which one is my like which one is my like this, like well, how do I upgrade my Ravagers now? Like where do I go? And it's just like a bit, I don't know, it's a bit clunky. Like I'm used to it being quite streamlined, that procedure.
Yeah. So
like the macro and micro I find quite hard to get my head around. And like unit pathing is also a bit
oh my god
terrible.
It's not aged well.
No, it's like it feels so janky sometimes. Like it's so hard, and then you have to keep like monitoring your army. You have to like, oh, just walk over there, and you're like, well, why is like my army completely spread across the map to get to this one point? Because they've all decided to wander around,
running the opposite direction.
Like, trying to fit a Reaver through like a 2-block gap, and it's just like constantly just swerving. It's like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, anything that's bigger than like a Marine and a Zealot is you're basically gonna have issues.
And Dragoons.
Oh god,
Dragoons are just awful.
Dragoons just they fuck off.
Yeah,
they just fuck off.
They're
what are you
hitbox.
doing?
So you'd be like, oh yeah, it'll be like, I'll grab army, press A, go attack over there, and then like you're going like, oh, and then you're like, going to build more stuff, whatever. You look back and like all your zealots are there, like right next to like the army's base, fighting, and your dragoons are like on the other side of the map. Your Reavers are like stuck by like a pylon. You're like, for fuck's sake.
You're like, charge, and they will go in the opposite direction.
Like, well, there goes all my zealots.
There goes the meat shield. Yeah.
And the only other thing that I find, which I could just change myself, is just I find like the hotkeys on the keyboard keys are a bit weird.
They're all wonky.
They're all like really spread out. Like, I guess when they try to like tie like the letter to be like connected to like the thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like in like 2, it's so much easier to like
just run an AS and D in it.
Yeah. So if you're doing Z, it's like A S, then like D for drones, A S Z for like Zerglings. Like it's just so much easier because they're all like next to each other.
Yeah.
Whereas in that, it's like stimmed like all the way over here. Like M is for like Marines, it was like down here. Yeah. It's just like. I could change that, but like
I don't think you can.
I thought you could change the hotkeys.
They're bringing it into the remastered one.
Oh, maybe that's what I heard.
But yeah, you can't. I don't think you can.
Oh, then that is a problem with that because
that is frustrating.
I can't do the whole keyboard.
Yeah, just clicking on the picture in the end because it's just easier.
Yeah, but I mean, other than those 3 main things, I don't think there's anything that's like. So it's not. But then these aren't like complaints from like a retro perspective, like looking back on it, but like I don't think these were so much a problem like at the time. So it's kind of feels hard. Like I feel like we're like beating it for things that it couldn't really alter.
Yeah, it was definitely doing well at the time. Like it.
But as a thing of retro Reminisce, it makes it harder to play with like a modern mindset. Definitely. And I think that's my main gripes.
Would you like to go next, Mr. Mark?
Yeah, well, I've written down 2 gripes, and you've mentioned both of them. I'll just reiterate.
Don't I look clever?
I think you read your notes.
I'll just reiterate, the pathfinding in this game is frustrating as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for the larger units, like you were saying, like the dragoons will just spider off in their own direction, and you'll just be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And it happens with the tanks.
Yeah.
So generally, for like the larger units, really.
For those who don't know, dragoons have 2 states of hitboxes: when they're stopped and when they're moving. And because of that, it's constantly changing. The game gets confused.
Yeah.
It's the only unit it does do. Other units get stuck, but the dragoons are literally the worst.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because like another thing, it's like from like 2 and stuff. It's like if you leave a 2-block gap on your ramp, or like if you got like a supply depot width, when you lower that, every unit can fit through there.
Yeah.
Like a Colossus, whatever,
Doesn't need to
Immortal.
just climb down the thing.
Yeah, you just climb down the wall. But it's like everything can fit through like a 2-block gap, so you know that. So what I found hard going back to this is like, I leave like a 2-space gap on like the entrance to my building, and like everything gets confused.
Yeah.
Still,
Like, what?
it's like-
Yeah, so it'd be like playing a Protoss mission and try and charge a load of my units in. All the zealots would like run perfectly in the right direction most of the time.
Sazu!
Yeah, and then the dragoons would just like spider out into the forests in the like opposite direction, and I was just like, "What are you doing? No, I need you for like
It's range.
range.
Yeah.
I need a range and anti-air, and I've just got no anti-air, and I'm getting dicked over by like all
Mutalisks.
these. Yeah. So that is annoying, and there has been some moments where I've been doing a mission and then just like fucked it up because of that. I'm just like, no.
It's kind of ironic, the idea of Mutalisks and like Dragoon problem. You're like, Mutalisks that will just stack onto one space. And you got the Dragoons that take up like 50 times like more space than they should do.
Yeah.
It's like quite a funny combination, actually.
And the other dislike is, it's going to be quite obvious, I'm sure you'll guess what I'm going to say, is the 12 unit restriction.
Yeah.
It was just difficult to coordinate a large army when you're restricted to selecting 12 units at once. Now, I didn't find this as bad when you're playing as Protoss, because if you've got 12 units, you can do quite a lot of damage with that, and you can just send them off.
You got like
when you're playing as Terran or Zerg and you want the larger armies, especially Zerg, when you've got shitloads of Zerglings and Hydralisks, you've got to make like 3 or 4 different batches of them and just try and
just
coordinate
like quick
them
keep
together.
like bandboxing like over them. Just keep pressing A and hopefully just
relentlessly.
keep going until like everything's moved.
Just A move.
It's like
box A move, box A move, box A move.
So is that everything now?
Yeah, and it's frustrating. But to be fair, I've not played Starcraft 2. I am such an old school RTS gamer that when I play Starcraft 2 at some point, I'm going to be like so refreshing to be able to select.
It's going to be like entering the future. You're going to be like, oh my god, this is so much simpler.
Because
to,
I've
like,
never
control.
known any different other than the 12 unit selection.
Yeah.
And like you guys mentioned about the hotkeys, but I haven't played Starcraft 2, so I don't know. I don't know any different there either. So that's not a gripe for me. So the 2 things I've listed there are the pathfinding and the 12 unit restriction is a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
But they did what they could in 1998.
They did. However, I'm now going to rag on them some more because I've got a lot of that I'm going to reiterate from my own personal experience. But I want to talk about 2 different things first, which is related to the single player. One is mission variety, and the other one is mission length. Now, obviously, most RTS campaigns from back in the day aren't particularly perfect. They're very samey. It's like build a base, destroy a base, or you've got limited units, find something. Now, to be fair, most of the campaigns are fun. But sometimes you'll come across a mission that's just a bit like, this is the same as the last mission, except on a bigger map. Yeah. It takes way more time. And
I've started in a different corner of the map.
Yeah. And this is the thing about mission length. Like, when I play a mission on StarCraft 2, just on the normal difficulty, now StarCraft 1 doesn't have a difficulty setting, but if I'm playing a mission on StarCraft 2, maybe 30, 40 minutes tops. Most of the missions, if you know what you're doing or you've got a general idea, it'd probably take you about 15, 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah.
StarCraft 1, some of those missions were taking an hour, 55 minutes, and I'm just like, why is this taking so long? And it's because of multiple things, which I'll talk about in a minute, but it's not fun. I don't want to do a mission for an hour, unless I purposely set it to hard mode. Like, to me, I know this game doesn't have a difficulty setting, but I feel like if I want to make a level that long, then I want to be able to do that as a challenge myself. And it is very frustrating when you're trying to play through 10 missions of each race and you get to the last ones and you're like, that just took me an hour. I think I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not prepared for another mission to be that long, and it is,
and
especially
that mission be quite similar to the last one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And also if you've gone from a mission where you've got a full-on base, full production, to the next mission like, now I've just got a hatchery or a command center, and you're just like, oh god, and like, and it's just.
I see what you mean. I personally quite enjoy. Sometimes enjoy quite an arduous battle. But
yeah, for the most part, I like the missions. I like most of it, but there were just some missions I was just like, I don't want to do that again. And that brings me on another point where in some campaigns there are difficulty spikes, unnecessarily so. So where earlier I was saying I basically completed the game without cheating, there were a couple of missions I did this on. One of them was my own fault, but it was a Zerg mission. The game basically expects you to build Scourge, which are these anti-air units.
Scourge are awesome.
But I don't like building suicide units. Like I mean, I know what they're there. Like that's part of the racist thing. It's about blowing stuff up.
Scourge trades so well.
I know, but
it takes like what 3 Scourge to like take down like a science vessel.
Yeah, it takes about 4 or 5 to take out a carrier.
So cheap. Like it's such a good way of taking down air units.
Yeah. But when I was doing this mission, I missed a complete like expansion with another Vespian gas, and they take a lot of Vespian gas, and I was doing it and I was like, the mission didn't really play out how I expected it to. It was a bit different, and I was like, you know what, I can't be fucked. Like I literally can't be fucked because I'm trying to take this base out. I'm just getting carrier after carrier, and I don't have, well, the Zerg don't have a pure anti-air flying unit in the standard one. They do in Brood War, which is really powerful, but they don't in the standard one.
What did they get in Brood War?
Devourers.
Oh yeah, Devourers.
And they're really powerful. But in that mission, and the same with the Protoss, like I was doing the Protoss campaign fairly well, like getting through it, and I hit a mission where you start in the top left, and suddenly there's like 3 Protoss bases, and no matter how many different ways I tried it, I was just getting fucked because they had Arbiters, and Arbiters I didn't have at that point. They kept stasis fielding all of my units, and you can't shoot them out of the air before they stasis you. So I'm like, half my army's dead, the other half of my army's frozen as soon as they unspawn.
Was this the one where the base is like right next? Below your base.
Yeah, so you start with the DTs. You start off getting attacked, and you have a base in the top left.
Yeah.
And you have to take out the Nexus. So it's Tassadar versus Aldaris, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just like, you know what? Like I looked up a few strategies, got them down there, and just put on the invincibility cheat, and I was like, fuck it, just do it. Because I just got sick of like, I don't have arbiters. Like this is so infuriating that this unit keeps coming along. I had a big army. And because it's bridges, they were getting frozen on the bridges, so the rest of my units couldn't get through, and it was just like, this isn't fun. I was not having a lot of fun.
Getting a bit stressed out by it. Like,
I was. I mean, I attempted that mission a good 20 times, and by the end of it, I was like, I'm done. Like, I kept saving it as well, but
that's interesting because when I was playing, I did quite enjoy. Well, when I was shit at this game a couple of months ago, I did quite enjoy like long missions, but I didn't realise they were longer than they needed to be because I wasn't very good. I wasn't very efficient.
Yeah.
I did find it a bit like, but then once it was down, if I did do it in like 45-50 minutes, I found that fine.
Yeah.
But that's like, I was so bad at it, there was some missions that would take me like an hour and a half or something stupid like that. But yeah, that's where I found it like to get a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it's just a bit frustrating that the mission's that long. Other than that, things we've already touched on. Pathfinding in this game is shit. I don't care what anyone says, and I've had discussions with this recently on the forums. It's terrible. Like, it's really that bad. Not for every unit, but it's unacceptable, really. Like, the way that they move.
Something that...
It's to do with the engine, though, isn't it? It's got to be to do with the engine, you know. But I find it incredibly frustrating.
It makes me not want to play certain races, like the pathfindings. Like, cause when I first started playing it, I was like, oh yeah, Protoss and stuff. But like, it does make me. I end up playing a lot more like Terran, just because like you can just flood like Marines and
firebats and stuff, and it's all right.
But then the tanks get confused as well.
The good thing about tanks, though, for the most part,
you can just sit them there.
You can siege up. yeah.
I mean, each race has a dropship of some kind, so you can pick stuff up and move it that way. But then that's one other thing you've got to think about. So
it definitely made me not play certain races just because of the pathfinding.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I didn't find it too much playing the Terran. I only really noticed it with Dragoons mainly. But yeah, it is there. I think it's bigger, has a big hitbox. It's shortcut keys for units and buildings, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Marine, the amount of times I'd hit N on the keyboard instead of M and then wonder why I wasn't building anything. I understand why they did it that way, because originally it was a case of, you know, it's trying to be the first letter of every...
Yeah, and I've got used to that now, and I find it really, like...
Oh, for me, it's like, I'm just used to, with an SCV, hitting BS, you know, that's Build Supply Depot, which I think is the same in this. Yeah. But then, if you're in a barracks, you hit A for Marine in StarCraft 2. That's because you hit A for Marine, D for Marauder in the second game. Like, all the buttons are very close together. And obviously, like, I understand, it's not it's not a huge issue if you've never played another game. It's just when you're like hitting A and nothing's happening. You're like, what?
Yeah.
And you think, why isn't it? And then you realise they've made it way more sensible in the second game because you're like, oh wait, your hand shouldn't be doing this across the keyboard. And lastly, the biggest problem I have with this game is the selection of 12 units. Quite frankly, considering Red Alert is a much older game and you can select up to 50, this is pretty piss poor. And I'm pretty sure in their earlier games you can select more than 12 units. I don't know why this was a design decision.
Do you have this limitation in Warcraft?
That's what I think. I don't remember. I don't think in Warcraft 3. I could be wrong.
But like,
well, actually, Warcraft 3 might have had it, but I don't know about Warcraft 2 or 1. I haven't played those games. It's just frustrating because I can play other RTS games and not have a limit. Like, I understand there's nothing wrong having a limit, but 12 is just too small. If you made it 24 or you made it 36 or just 40 or 50, that just makes your life a lot easier because of the control grouping stuff. When you're trying to control group, your units up, this takes way too much time. And this is again what I've been saying on the forums. I don't want to spend 10 minutes going, right, there's all my zealots, there's all my dragoons, there's my scouts. Like, I don't want everything on the different.
You want to be able to get
all
the ratios right and then send them all off.
Yeah.
The thing is, they all go to the same like rally points as well. So then it's like, then you have to like sort through your dragoons and your zealots and everything else.
And if you double click, it only selects 12, and that's a real issue.
Yeah, because like as you said, like 50 would be a good number. Because I mean, you got like, a game with like 200 supply, 30 of that would be like harvesters.
Yeah.
Then like having like 250 groups would be fine. Because that's still going to be the majority of your army.
That's the thing, really. I understand. Like in this game, they want you to use all the control groups, but I don't want to have. Like, ideally I'd like to have all my comsat centres on 0, for example, I'm playing Terran, and then my, because I like having just a quick there to use to uncover.
I was so used to just building probes and like one hotkey of like all my command centres.
Yeah, hitting E and whatever. Yeah, and that was really frustrating because it's like that combination of now I have to use more control groups because it's already bad enough that the building's going to be on 1. Now I can only select so many units, and I have to then use half of them for units, half of them for buildings. It wouldn't
be so bad if you could put 12 buildings on one key.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be so frustrated.
Yeah. I mean, it would require minor changes to the UI just so you realise what barracks or whatever you're on. But
it's like tab through them that you can on too.
Yeah, it is frustrating, like for sure. And it's funny to say that because like as a game, I do very much enjoy it. But like playing. When you can only select 12 units,
it's a thing
of
like, playing the newer thing. It really gripes.
Well, mechanics have moved on that much, haven't they? So
these weren't the best choices.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't mentioned, and one thing I've not used at all. What is the campaign editor like in this game?
Actually, pretty good. I use the map. I use the map editor to alter the multiplayer maps. But everything you see in the campaign, you can do in the map editor.
Yeah.
So you can set up like story bits and things like that.
All the same terrain and all that.
Yeah, it's the same with Starcraft 2. It's a very powerful tool. You can do a lot with it.
Oh, the arcade of like Starcraft 2. There's so many games.
Yeah.
There's whole like MMOs and stuff.
Yeah.
For there.
They do a really good job with their map editors and stuff. Like, there's a map that I always play on, which we played on when we were doing it versus AI. Called The Hunters. It's the one where you have like it's an 8-player map and you kind of come to the middle. What me and my mate used to do was make it so that everyone was on our island, and so that you never got rushed. So we do that, and then everyone would converge everywhere else. It was quite fun, and we just make it so the minerals are like 9,000, and you don't have to leave. And I really like that map. It's like the only map I ever play on. But yeah, it's fairly good.
It's quite a lot of people started, like a lot of the esports people. So like Scarlett, she started as like the map editor in like Warcraft 3 and stuff.
Yeah.
That's how she like kind of got quite big, like in the scene.
Yeah.
She like her like
maps
that she designed stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's awesome.
We should mention that obviously as a pro game, this is really good to watch. Like I like Starcraft 2 and Starcraft 1.
Like watching like Dong Wei-gu and stuff like
Flash.
back in the day, and like
J-Dong.
Yeah, J-Dong.
Marine King was Warcraft 1. Warcraft 1? Starcraft 1.
Yeah. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of
Warcraft, to be honest. A lot of people transitioned from 3, didn't they?
Yeah. There's a lot of. It's a really good game for that. It's good to watch pro games. It's a whole new beast, isn't it? As casuals, as we are.
And also just like the sheer like spectacle of it.
Yeah,
they don't seem to
so
be
impressive.
Yeah, they don't seem to be hindered by the whole 12 unit thing. They just
they learned the game, didn't they?
Yeah,
they get so much like efficiency out of all the units and stuff. Like it's just amazing to watch. I thought of another thing when you said about difficulty campaign. It's also a problem when I was trying to learn the multiplayer.
Oh, the AI.
You can't change the AI difficulty.
Yeah.
Which is really...
And it's quite difficult.
It's quite hard, because when you first, when I was first download this, because it's free now. Oh, well, have a little go in the multiplayer, and you get, rushed by, 10 zealots.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've literally just picked this up. I can't make this easy.
I'm building a barracks and you've just sent 10 zealots in.
But you can change the speed, can't you?
Yeah.
But you can't change the difficulty of the AI, which I find really frustrating when I was trying to learn the differences between the two games.
Yeah.
That was something which would be that'd be nice.
Interestingly enough, when I used to play Starcraft and Brood War, there was a patch on Starcraft 2 that made increase the AI. If you play it before that patch, the AI are pretty crap. So it went far too to the middle. You'd play against them and they'd be alright, but you wouldn't get rushed that early. Then they changed it and they changed their AI behaviour. So for example, you'd either get Zealot rushed or a DT will walk into your base. And I remember using that patch going, fuck, they made this way harder. So that's obviously what they've kept it at. So if you play the original, which I have somewhere, if you play the original games without that patch, the AI is much easier to fight. But I think they're a bit too easy. Yeah. So it's kind of a weird balance there. So.
Yeah. It's almost as if having an ability to select between the two would be useful.
They probably didn't expect too many people to play against them, but as co-op people who don't like playing online, that's a great idea.
Then as you're branching into a game, it's the best way to learn, you know. It's it'd be like having Street Fighter, and then you go into practice mode and the AI just destroys you every time.
Yeah.
Well, trying to learn. It's since there's no tutorial for Protoss and Zerg, this is the easiest way to learn without fighting against other people.
Yeah.
Who are probably a lot better than you. As a way of as a barrier to entry. Your tutorial comes from playing the AI, surely. Looking at the AI strategies and
learning
from them.
Just use the cheats.
So then you can go and you can go against your friends and be
oh, I've learned this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because else it means you have to go online and play against people who have probably had the game much longer than you and they're probably better than you.
Yeah. Gonna destroy you. So.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Actually. I mean, I'm used to it. I know that the AI is hard, but I absolutely can see that being a real bad point. You know, even if it's just easy, medium, hard. Or just easy hard or something.
It's just when I was just want to learn. You just want to even because you can slow down the speed of the game, but then it just means that everything's slow.
Yeah, doesn't make the game any easier to play.
No.
That is a funny one there. Let's go back to this question then. What's your favourite race and why? I'll start with Mr. Mark. It's a tough one.
I like all the races for different reasons. There's not a race I don't like. I am tempted to say it's between Terran and Protoss.
Yeah.
If I had to choose an easy one that wasn't as good as the rest, I'd say Zerg in that game.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe because they're the weakest, and I like Terran. They're really cool, the music, and I like the variety of units and stuff. But if I had to choose between Terran and Protoss, I guess as I've been playing through the campaign, have slightly more enjoyed Protoss.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say Protoss.
Yeah.
I think they're really cool. I like their whole character. They're so majestic, and they the whole kind of protecting their tradition, their kind of empire, and all that kind of thing. They're so
religious zealots.
Yeah. And I think that even though when I play Protoss, I basically just use if we're not talking about air units, I just use zealots, dragoons, and then a few Dark Templars basically. Yeah. But that's usually enough variety for me to be I'm having fun and I'm destroying everything.
Yeah.
I just like how they're really strong. Obviously they cost more and things generally take longer to build, but I just like how strong it is. Yeah. I like the whole pylon thing. I think that's really cool how that works.
Yeah.
You just put pylons all around and it kind of. I really like the fact that you can warp buildings in, so you can use one probe and just warp. Just
you
have
don't
him
multiple.
All the way around.
Oh mate, wait until you can use warp gates. You just warping units.
What's this?
This is amazing.
And then you've got the shields as well. So even if you take damage, then and you get rid of the enemy, then you
can reheal the shield.
On its own without you having to spend anything. Although that might not be as good as actually being able to use an SCV who can repair things a lot quicker, but
that's the risk trade-off, isn't it, with the races?
And you got the Zerg, you can just heal over time.
Yeah. I just think the units are really cool. I like Dark Templars, the invisible.
They are so powerful.
They're really strong. They're invisible. They
one shot
they look
harvesters.
cool. Dragoons are just cool as fuck.
Yeah.
They're make use of me, and they look like evil little spidery things. Zealots are just awesome. Is running with their knifey arms and just
side blades. Yeah.
Zealot legs in this game.
Zealot legs is so good in this game. They like triple the
run.
speed, don't they? Like you see you later.
And I think like the base just looks really cool. I said it earlier. I think the buildings look quite cool, like the Nexus and the Gateway. Everything.
Citadel of Adun is my favourite.
The futuristic aspect of it looks so cool. I think it looks
when you
awesome.
warp in like a carrier. It's just like so cool when you build all the like interceptors.
I just think that
carriers.
I just love how strong they are. Once you've got all the forge upgrades, you could take down an enemy base with about like half a dozen zealots and half a dozen dragoons probably.
Yeah.
Because a couple of reavers.
Reavers
like, blow up like spine.
Well, maybe more, maybe a bit more than half a dozen each. But you know, like if you were playing Zerg, you could like take out about half a dozen Zerglings with one zealot and just like.
Yeah. Especially if you've got Reavers, they just annihilate everything.
Reavers are so powerful.
125 damage, max upgrades. Like, whoa.
The only problem is you do need to like expand quickly because
you need that income.
Everything costs so much more.
You need the gas.
You need that. You need that quick.
Limited by gas.
You need that early expand. But as long as you get that down, you've got another Nexus set up. You can just start. You can
churning stuff.
4 or 5 gateways or more, and you just like churn units out. And just,
Did you ever build many Archons? Just like two high tempo.
Archons are so powerful.
No.
Oh man, I'm surprised because in that game you don't even cost to build them. You you get the 2 High Templar and then just cost 4 to merge them.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Storm is so powerful. You just set that over some Marines, just decimate
everything.
Yeah.
So powerful.
Yeah, I did like Zerg. I found like some of their things quite interesting, like how they turn into the buildings, not buildings, but like and like I kind of like how gruesome everything looks, like spawning pool and that. And then Terran's just really cool, like the fire bats and the tanks and the battle cruisers. Battle cruisers is one of my favourite units actually.
Battle cruisers just look great.
If I had to choose, I guess I've been like really enjoying playing Protoss.
Yeah. Good.
Maybe my mind might change though. Maybe like you've asked me in a month's time, I'll be like, nah, it's all about Terran. I love Terran.
Terran are the best. Mr. Pretty Summer. It's a bit different for you because obviously they play differently in this game.
Yeah, they're very different, all the races. Except maybe Terran. Terran,
fairly simple. Yeah.
Fundamentals of Terran are still the same.
A move.
A move stim. Yeah, so it's kind of weird because like Zerg is my main race in Starcraft 2. But Zerg are very different in this game. Like it's weird because you don't have Banelings, do you?
No.
You don't have Roaches.
No.
Which is really
Hydralisks are like
different. Like so the Hydralisks are really different as well. So they got the thing they still do about the same like DPS. But then like
they're considered like the sort of the second level
meat shield, and not having like it's all quite different. I found it quite hard not having the queens to like inject.
You have to build so many hatches.
Having extra lava and stuff like that. It's so I ended up playing a lot of Protoss, which is more similar and like more what I was used to. So never really. I still pretty much just constantly play random. Like pretty much always play random.
Like, makes it more interesting.
Yeah. So I'm just the best at all 3 races.
Strongly disagree.
But so I guess Protoss is my favourite for this to play.
Yeah. It's interesting. I thought you were going to say Zerg, but then I knew you much preferred Zerg on Starcraft 2.
Yeah, I find it harder to get used to the play style. And also, like, Protoss are just a good, strong unit. Like, if you got, like, they're easy to churn out a couple of zealots and you're pretty much defended in the beginning.
Yeah.
Although, cannons aren't as powerful at the beginning of the game. So I remember looking at some strategies and stuff, they're like, don't build cannons at the beginning. Like, they're good one later on.
You need quite a few of them, otherwise
they're like,
they can be destroyed quite
cannons
easily.
Are so powerful in 2.
Yeah. Well, they do 20 damage a shot, which is unlike a sunken colony, which the Zerg have does 40 damage a shot.
Yeah.
It's just
the colonies are one of the best things about the Zerg.
Like,
the defense
at
is
the beginning
really
of the game is so strong.
Yeah.
Zealots are so powerful.
Because you don't have the DPS. Like, if you're Terran, you need bunkers. You need bunkers to defend against that.
Yeah, so I'll go for Protoss.
Well, mine's pretty fucking obvious. I'm a Terran player through and through. I love Terran. I just like the play style. I like the things they can do. Like you were saying, with Protoss can re-heal. I like the fact that Terran can, if you've got SCVs, you can repair all your stuff. You can be in the middle of a battle, have your medics healing, your bio, you've got whatever mech you've got.
You can repair your tanks.
Yeah. And what I like about Terran is you can either play a very fast style, Or if you want to be a right dickhead, you can just build loads of bunkers, get loads of tanks, and make a real like hard point. You know, you go, I'm going to make my stand here.
Yeah.
As a Protoss, the best thing to do in that circumstance would be to use Reavers. As a Zerg, you would use Guardians. But if you tried to run an army into that,
yeah, Guardians.
Yeah, if you tried to run an army in that, you're fucked, because tanks have a really long range in this game. They do about 70 damage in siege mode. If you've then got, you know,
so when you just fly a carrier around the corners of the map, and just like take out all that.
Build wraiths, plug the wraiths in. I love everything that the Terran has in this game, as much as I do the second game. But everything that, like, their air units are fun. I think I've always had the argument: what's better, a wraith or a scout? I think wraiths are cooler. I think they do slightly less damage, but they can go invisible, and that's a real bonus. I do like the other races. I mean, I liked Zerg a lot more in this, replaying it. I was like, oh, this is actually fun.
I must say that the Terran air units are better than the Protoss air units, I think, generally. Although, actually, no, I don't know. The carrier's pretty.
Carrier is really, really powerful. I
just think the battle cruiser and the wraiths are really awesome.
I mean, I like the reason why I like battle cruisers is, one, they tank loads of damage. They look really cool. They've got Yamato cannon, which does 300 damage. It's like boof, you murder stuff. But on their own, they're not. You need a lot of them. You need about 12 to be, you know, to defend one another. Because if Zerg send Scourge, or they you get carriers come along. Like, carriers are less of a problem. Scouts, on the other hand, because scouts fire quite quickly. They do 28 damage a shot for anti-air. If you've got a big group of scouts versus battle cruisers, you're probably going to be trading worse. You might kill all the scouts, but you're going to probably lose a couple of battle cruisers unless you get cannoned.
You've invested more money in.
Yeah, but in terms of, I mean, I like the science vessels, the wraiths, the battle cruisers. The dropships are cool as well. Like, I like that race. I understand that race really well. I like the mechanics of that race. The music obviously is a big part of it to me. Like, if the music was like that as on par with the other races, like if Terran, Protoss and Zerg had music that I thought was as good as the Terran, I probably would like them as more. The music has a huge part of for me.
Music is a big thing there.
Yeah, and I like listening to it while I'm playing the game. And I like the fact they're obviously all like.
It makes you motivated, doesn't it? It's like, I'm gonna fucking destroy
Dave was saying as
everything.
well. Like, I do like the Southerners part of it, where they're all just like these fucking people, rednecks essentially.
Yeah.
They're all convicts.
Ready to roll out.
Yeah, and then that part of it, like, it all just they are like a very resourceful thing. Like, because you think about it, I like to think of them. You know, they've got tech, like Earth tech essentially, versus like Protoss. It's all like futuristic stuff, but it works. And it's like that idea that we have these combat suits for our Marines. They've got these big guns. They probably won't do a huge amount of damage, but like when you like see it in the cutscenes and stuff, you realise that they've got all this gear and things, and I kind of like all that.
Yeah.
Like I said, not that I hate the other races. It's like Terran gels my playstyle perfectly, and I like the fact you can lift your buildings up to stop things getting attacked, and the repairing. And each
Comsat station is
Comsat
useful.
station, the nukes, the only race to have a super weapon essentially. Like, ghosts are fun. Ghosts are really powerful in the first game with lockdown. You just lock down everything.
They are a bit broken.
Well, it's alright. You got medics in the second one, which you can use restoration, so it's not so bad.
Yeah.
But sorry, the expansion. But yeah, my favourite race is by far Terran. So, which brings me to the last question then. Do you think this game holds up? Mr. Fruity Sama did an interesting view.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I think campaign-wise, yeah, I'd recommend playing the campaign, like watching the story, all that kind of things. If you want to play online, I'd recommend playing StarCraft 2 instead. Like, I don't really see why going back. I don't really have any desire to really play a lot of this. I mean, it's fun to play every now and then, but I find it too frustrating to actually try and like.
It's fun when we played it all together.
Get good. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
playing with your friends.
I
and
really
stuff
want to
like
play
that.
more of it.
Yeah.
But like, man, StarCraft 2 is so much easier to use. This is like the online stuff is so much better. Like, so yeah, I recommend playing it. I definitely recommend the story and the campaign. Definitely recommend doing that. Maybe have a few games online with like your friends and stuff. But if you want to like get serious into like RTS and serious into like strategy and stuff, just recommend StarCraft 2.
Or any newer RTS with better, newer mechanics than it. So
play Grey Goo, they need the support.
yeah, woo! That's Westwood people. Mr. Mark, how do you feel about this game?
Well, I'm really enjoying this game.
Yeah.
I really.
But I don't
like
recommend it to anyone.
Yeah.
All for me.
Yeah, I'm really loving it. I can't put it down at the moment. It's the main thing I'm playing.
Yeah.
I've not played any modern RTS games, so you're going to get a totally different perspective from me, which makes it interesting, I suppose. So, as a person who's not really played any modern RTS games, and is just going back and playing this properly for the first time, I think it's really playable.
Yeah.
Like obviously I've got a couple of gripes, like the unit, the restriction and the pathfinding is frustrating, but for the most part it's I think it's really fun. I think it's really good. For me it holds up, as in I'm playing it for the first time recently and really enjoying it and not thinking this is too restrictive for me to enjoy. But I think from another perspective, from someone else's perspective, if I were to say to someone, or if someone asked me like, should I play this game, and I knew that they were like a modern gamer, I'd probably, even though I've not played the game, I'd probably say play Starcraft 2 or play another modern RTS game, because you might as well just skip ahead unless you're really interested in knowing what happens in the story
lore,
and stuff, which is good. The story is great. So yeah, I think for the most part it does hold up because I really enjoyed it, and I didn't play it much back in the day at all, so I'm not tainted by nostalgia. I am playing it really for the first time in the past 3 or 4 months. I'm really enjoying it, but it's not the first RTS I would recommend for a modern gamer. But I think it's fantastic. It did so well at the time. Blizzard were on the top of their game. They were like making Warcraft 2 and 3 and Starcraft, and they were like nailing it. And I think it's fucking awesome, really. Yeah. And I do think it doesn't hold up against it's not going to hold up against modern RTS games, but it is. I would recommend
classic
playing it if you fancy.
Yeah. With any luck, my opinions on this are quite interesting. With any luck, this will be up before Starcraft Remastered comes out, and I think this is where my sort of biggest recommendation or stay away from thing is. If you've never played Starcraft 1 and you want to experience it, don't waste your time buying the remaster, because quite frankly, and having spoken to people on the forums about this, all they're doing with the remaster is the same game, high resolution, you can zoom out further, newer graphics. If you don't care about any of that, play the original. It's free. You can go and download this game right now for free.
They released it free 3 months ago.
Yeah, go and play it. You can play it for free. And if you want to experience the original story of the Starcraft universe, then absolutely do it. It's really, really good. It's really fun. I like the way the game pans out there. What's nice about it is the Zerg and the Protoss seem to be more about an overall story, and the Terran campaign seems to be more focused on Terran. But it all works. It all fits nicely.
Yeah, it carries on. Continuity is really good.
It works really, really well. Now, personally, I actually quite like the story in the second game. Now, it has its flaws, and it sort of makes the characters a bit weird in it. But overall,
I just keep thinking of the ending of it, just being like,
all right, what
happened to this world?
But for the most part, I like the continuation of the story, especially Wings Unlimited.
Yeah, I also don't want to spoil anything.
I don't want to go into spoil. But what's good about this game is the characters you meet, the story you get there. You are going to have frustrations in terms of unit selection, pathfinding, all that stuff is very dated. It's very outdated. Even Red Alert, which is an older game, and it's a different game, even though the pathfinding is a little bit squiff in that game, that almost holds up better than this in that aspect, because that game is a bit simpler, things work a bit easier, things kind of go where you want them to go. And it's weird knowing that game's older, and it does things better than this. There's some weird design choices with the engine and things, I think, with StarCraft 1 that I find incredibly frustrating, and I did want to see change in the remaster as a personal thing, but it's not happening.
Me and you come from the same point in this. When I was saying whether to get that to play this or to play anything else, a lot of it does come from the fact that they're doing the remaster and it's keeping everything I dislike about the first one. So my recommendation of playing it for the story mode, playing it for the stuff, play the free one as much as you want. You'll enjoy it, and it's free. But I don't particularly want to pay
£13
for this, because I know I'm not going to use it.
Yeah,
I know I'm just going to play it for a day maybe, then just go back to playing StarCraft 2.
Yeah,
I'll go on YouTube and look at what the high-res graphics look like, but I won't bother buying it to play it.
That's the thing, is I want to play it, so because personally I want to play it.
I want them to fix things. It's with the Crash Bandicoot remaster and stuff like that. You didn't just this is the limits of platformers at the time, the 5 polygons we had to use. So a lot of these things don't quite work. Things hitboxes don't quite line up, all these things. Oh yeah, we just leave it exactly the same for the remaster. Like, no, you improve on it.
Yeah.
I find it so frustrating that they couldn't do that. If there was a paid mode, but like we've done this in the Starcraft 2 engine. I mean, that does exist in the arcade on Starcraft 2, which is another thing. You can just play Starbow, or you can. There is just entire Starcraft 1 redone Starcraft 2 engine.
Yeah.
And it'll have all the UI updates we want. So I recommend just doing that in the Starcraft 2 arcade.
I think the problem is what I think are small quality of life changes. And the thing is, I've had this discussion on this forum post, was that if they are willing to do it for the multiplayer in the remaster, I understand that. If you don't want to change the multiplayer, if it's coming back into big fashion, keep it the same. But why not give people options in the single player? Why not let me play my single player experience, letting me select more units, letting me control group stuff. Like, I understand the pathfinding.
Why didn't they update that?
This has always been a problem with Starcraft, though, isn't it? This is a problem in Starcraft too. The separation of like the pro scene and like the average player.
Yeah.
And like this is stuff that like an average player wants because it makes everything like easy for them.
Yeah.
This is probably something the pro team doesn't want, because then they'd have to like completely redevelop all their strategies and redevelop.
But you don't have to have that in the multiplayer. You can literally like
you can have it in the multiplayer, just don't have it on like ranked.
Yeah.
Or just have like a separation of like
different modes.
Yeah. Like I just don't understand why you can't add this on. Like it just seems.
For me, any remaster that is literally just upgraded graphics and a few minor tweaks, what's the point? Why bother? You've just released the game for free in this case.
Yeah.
If for a remaster,
play the authentic original piece as it was meant to be.
I get it's not a remake. So remakes and remasters are two different things. But with a remaster, you want quality of life changes. You just want little tweaks that just mean that you're playing an old game with tweaks that weren't available at the time, and that's the reason you're coming back, because you want to play this game that you liked, but with slightly upgraded things, because mechanics have moved on. I don't want to be fighting with the pathfinding in this game, or the unit thing, which is then slowing my gameplay down, and it's more frustrating when I want to be enjoying what the game has to offer, a good story, good gameplay. You know, when you're in battles and stuff, it is fun. And like, I want to focus on micro and macro, not I have to control 12 zealots here, 12, and that to me is what makes this game frustrating. Do I recommend it to people? Like Fruity said, absolutely for the story. Story's great. Anything else I wouldn't bother with. If you're gonna get the free version, play through all of the campaigns, have a good time with it, and then maybe play some with your mates. But other than that, move on to a different RTS, modern or old, that just has these changes to them that aren't so restricting.
Yeah, I think we'll at least me and Killjoy come from the point of view where it's like we recommend experiencing it and like experiencing the game, seeing where like everything came from and where they took ideas from before then. I wouldn't really recommend.
You're in for a bit of a rough time.
If I was going to main a game, it wouldn't be this game.
Yeah,
that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a weird one, because I feel like Starcraft 2, 20 years down the line, is still, unless mechanics move on massively, is still going to be easy to play. I mean, I can't say that for sure, but like, it's weird. Like, time hasn't been overly good to this game because mechanics have changed quite a bit, and they've, like I said, quality of life things in Starcraft 2 and other RTS, like Red Alert 3, fairly simple RTS game to play, but that even lets you like select as many units as you want. Like, the pathfinding in that game is really good. Things work really well. You can control group things. Like, there's things in those games, later RTS games, that are just there because they are like objectively better. And I think that's
Yeah.
But I'm not saying this game's terrible. I would say absolutely play it. It is a fun game. Just don't, if you're gonna play multiplayer stuff, find a different RTS. And don't waste your money with the remaster, essentially, unless you like prettier graphics.
Frustration.
So do you think there's a
factor too much?
There are better old school RTS games these days?
I think Red Alert in some ways is better. I think the campaigns are a bit meh, but actually, like, if you're just playing versus AI or versus your friends, you're gonna get less frustrated. It's a slower game, but Red Alert 2. Red Alert 2 is a fantastic game, much quicker. Like, that's a really good one. Any of the Command and Conquer games, I would say Tiberian Sun, Red Alert 2, Command and Conquer 3. They're really good. Other RTS games, if you like the Age of Empires games, I know Age of Empires 2 is quite well. A lot of people like that game. I can't say anything on it because I really don't remember. I don't know if it holds up at all. Dark Reign 2, really good game if you want to play a really good RTS. There are plenty of good RTS games, new and old, that probably don't have these issues, whether they're a bit more simplified or more complex. Empire Earth, fantastic game. again, I can't remember if they all hold up, but I'm with StarCraft. As much as I love this game and I love the StarCraft world, there's no reason to play this other than the story, in my opinion. Or with, as we do, like a bit of like a 1v1v1 or a versus AI. Ideally, I would rather play StarCraft, Command & Conquer 3, games that are a bit newer because they just improve on so much. But it's not, like I said, it's not a terrible game, and it is worth experiencing.
Indeed.
And the music is great, so and that's like the selling point,
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Alright then. Thank you very much for listening as always. That's been like 3 months in the work, this one. It's a long
Yeah, we tried on this.
Yeah, but we've done it.
Can you tell, listeners?
Yeah, can you tell? We spent a long time. Expect other stuff coming down the line fairly shortly. We're gonna have to.
The sun's gonna rise soon.
Yeah, been here a while. But thank you very much for listening. It is goodbye from me as always, and it is goodbye from my 2 esteemed colleagues.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Peace.